Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel Archituber. I am Architect Webby and I make content related to architecture and interiors. If you are new here, please take a moment and subscribe to my channel below. So in this video, we are going to be discussing about the remaining timelines of history of architecture. We have done part 1 on the similar. If you haven't watched that, please do give it a watch and then watch this video because the first video is in the continuation of this video. So make sure you are watching all of the videos and you are not skipping on to any of the videos actually. So without wasting more time, let us start with the video. So now let us discuss about the remaining summary of history of architecture timeline. Now discussing about Byzantine period. It lasted from 4th century AD to 15th century. These are some of the examples. Now talking about the key features, it had centralized plan structures, then extensive use of mosaic and decorative motifs, emphasis on interior spaces more than exterior facades. Thick solid walls were used to support dome-like structure, queen chest to transition from square to circular spaces. Okay. Then architectural elements, they had domes and semi-domes, basilicas with longitudinal plans, atrium and iconostasis, which is icon screens, which separates the nave from the sanctuary. Okay. Then material, brick and mortar, marble for columns and decoration, and mosaic tessera for elaborate interior decoration. Techniques that they use: pendentive construction, cross and square plan layout as I mentioned, and fresco and mosaic techniques for interior decoration. Okay. Now discussing about the Islamic period, it was from 7th century AD and onwards. Okay, these are some of the examples. Then talking about the key features of this timeline, it had emphasis on the geometric and floral motifs in the decoration. As you can see all over, the pattern has been repeated. They had used geometric shapes with floral motifs in it. Then minarets for the call to prayer was their main feature. Then they had courtyard with fountains for ritual purification, use of horseshoe arches and pointed arches, avoidance of figurative representation in decoration. You won't see any figurative representation. Squinch construction for transitioning from square to circular bases like Byzantine, okay, and carving and sculpting for decorative capitals and reliefs. Discussing about the Gothic timeline, it was from 12th century AD to 16th century AD. These are some of the examples. Then talking about the key features, they had pointed arches and ribbed walls, okay, flying buttresses for external supports, large stained glass windows you can see over here, verticality and lightness, elaborate decoration with tracery and pinnacles. Okay. Now discussing about Gothic architectural elements, ribbed walls and pointed arches, triforium and clerestory windows, rose windows, buttresses and flying buttresses, then gargoyles and grotesques. Okay, discussing about the material. They use stone masonry for structural elements, stained glass for windows, and wooden trusses for roofs. So they had different materials for different architectural elements. Okay. Now Renaissance. From 14th century AD to 17th century AD. These are some of the examples. Then discussing about the key features, symmetry and proportion inspired by classical antiquity. Use of classical orders like Doric, Ionic and Corinthian. Do let me know in which timeline we discussed about Doric, Ionic and Corinthian orders. Dome structure and centralized plan. Humanist ideals reflected in architectural design. Emphasis on mathematical precision and harmony. Okay. Now discussing about the architectural elements of Renaissance. Classical orders in columns and pilasters. Then pediments and entablatures. Symmetrical facade with centrally located entrances. Loggias and arcades and courtyards and gardens. The material that they used, marble and stone for classical detailing, brick and stucco for the facades, terracotta for ornamentation and wood for interior and decorative elements. So from Romanesque, they started using different materials for different architectural elements. Okay. Now discussing about the revival period, we started from 18th century AD and onwards. These are some of the examples, and discussing about the key features, revival of historical architectural styles. Okay, that means they used all the different styles or the timeline architectural elements in this period with different materials. Okay, combining elements from different periods, as I mentioned, emphasis on nostalgia and historical continuity, replication of iconic buildings or motifs from the past, and modern reinterpretations of traditional forms. So these are the architectural elements: replication, then Gothic revival with pointed arches and tracery, then Renaissance revival with domes and pilasters, revival of vernacular styles. Okay. Discussing about the materials. They use materials depending on the style being revived. Okay, modern materials like steel, concrete may be also used. So use of steel was started from this period. Then discussing about the modern. Now discussing about the modern period. It is in late 19th century AD to present. These are some of the examples talking about the key features. They emphasis on the function form which follows function. Okay, and simplification of forms, elimination of ornamentation. So in modern architecture there's no ornamentation. Okay, now it is all minimalistic. Use of new materials like steel, reinforced concrete and glass, open floor plans and flexible spaces, integration of technology and innovation in design. Then discussing about architectural elements, clean lines and geometric shapes, flat roofs and cantilevers, open plan layouts with minimal partitioning, large windows and curtain walls. Curtain wall means glass curtain walls. Modular construction techniques. Okay, steel and reinforced concrete for structure, glass for transparency and light, industrial materials like aluminium and plastic, timber for warmth and textures in interior. Okay, then the technique, they use prefabrication, then structural engineering innovation, sustainable design principles and integration of technology for smart building systems. Okay. And yes, with that we have discussed about the summary of history of architecture. Please do let me know if you want a question bank on the same, and I'll see you in my next video. You know the drill. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel below. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, please take care and bye.